But some of the stuff you make, it doesn't make any sense. Define for me where anybody on earth can claim they're African, by the way. You keep saying black. We have a problem right now. I'm trying to figure out what part shall I decide is not going to be black music, or what. You got a guy right there behind the switchboards. Can he be denied having anything to do with black music? Should he be denied anyway dealing with black culture? I mean, you talk about
well, Africa is the origin of civilization, so I don't think it's difficult to find out.
You got black folks here who believe they never came from out of Africa. You got black folks here who would not be able to define what black is what.
Well, they can just take a DNA test and see if we came out of Africa.
Fine, then tell me who could take a DNA test who wouldn't be African if we all came out of Africa.
I don't think Babyface wrote this.
He said, let's chill. Hey. Welcome back to WVON 1690. We are highlighting Babyface today. And no, that was Guy.
And Guy's one of my favorite groups of all time.
Babyface was out during that time. I mean, I can't connect the dots.
Babyface has always been out. He's like secretly 107 years old. Nobody knows how old he really is. Right.
And he's got that perfect hairline still.
Yeah, still. Yeah. I don't even think he's dyeing his hair.
Okay, that's going too far.
I'm just saying. What's the secret?
All that music.
Guys, we are joined in studio by Dr. Ifatunde, and he is here on the all-new afternoon show with Atiba Buchanan, LaDonna Ray. We're talking about all things black. I'm trying to figure out a way to tell everybody what we're talking about.
Man.
But that's what it is. I think we were still talking about CPS and public education here in Chicago. And you said something really powerful. You talked about not changing the system, but abandoning the system.
Yes, sir.
And that's a conversation that no matter what conversation we end up having on this show, oftentimes it distills to one of these 2 points. Do we integrate or do we segregate? Mm-hmm. And I'd love to ask you this question. This is completely unscripted. We didn't know this was going to happen, but I think you're the perfect person to ask. Do you think that integration was more helpful or more harmful to the black initiative and the black agenda?
Great question. Do I think integration was more harmful or helpful to the black agenda? Integration was done to dissipate black economic power. When they saw Rosewood in Charleston and all these independent black communities, they said, we have to break this up. This is a threat to our economic control. So that's why they desegregated. Here's the problem. They never integrated. They only desegregated. They removed barriers to access. Nobody made you move to the white neighborhood. They said you could. Nobody said you got to send your child to the white school. They said you could. Nobody said you had to stop going to the black hospital. They just gave you the right to go to the white one. Nobody forced us. Black people voluntarily abandoned our own institutions because we wanted to be accepted by white people. There's a conversation that we don't like to have about as African people, not us here, but as a community. Too many black people are only interested in white validation and white approximation. And the third one, white imitation. We want to be validated by Caucasians. We want to be close to them, approximation, and we want to imitate them in everything that we do. Until you deal with the need for Negroes to approximate whites, be validated by whites, and imitate whites, this is going to be an issue. Nobody made us give up our own. We voluntarily did it. Do you know we once owned and operated more than 500 hospitals? Yeah. 500! You can hardly count 5 now. You know why? Because the minute white people say you can come and have your baby at this white hospital that didn't let you in there for hundreds of years, we ran. Because although we built Black Wall Street, it was out of necessity. If white people allowed us to freely participate in this society at the end of slavery, I don't think you ever get a Black Wall Street. I don't think you ever get a Black Wall Street. If they never kept us out, I don't think you ever get a Black Wall Street.
All right, let's go to the phone lines. Oh my goodness.
Fire.
That's a very, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you for that perspective and that angle. Brother
Yes,
Chris,
sir.
you are on WVO.
Hey, Brother Chris.
All right, we can continue.
All right, let's go.
We've got Joe Citizen. Hey, Joe.
Hey, Joe.
Brother T and Sister LaDonna Ray. You know, and for the record, by the way, caller Clip was actually talking the opposite of what he normally does. You know, he was being a bit sarcastic when he brought his point up about he's making a point about people who believe like that.
Okay,
Brother Umar, I was trying to ride your Afrocentrist train until I found it was just a roller coaster running off the rails. And I'm reminded of the Songhai Empire, from Mansa Musa, the despotic Sani Ali, the hope of Askar Muhammad, till it all fell apart on Al Mansur. But some of the stuff you make, it doesn't make any sense. Define for me where Anybody on earth can claim they're African, by the way. You keep saying black. We have a problem right now. I'm trying to figure out what part shall I decide is not going to be black music, or what. You got a guy right there behind the switchboards. Can he be denied having anything to do with black music? Should he be denied anywhere dealing with black culture? I mean, you talk about...
Well, Africa is the origin of civilization, so I don't think it's difficult to find out what black people invented and what they did not. I think the question is more of what did we not invent. Most genres of music, most genres of music can be traced to the African continent, my brother.
Brother Umar, you're not hearing what I asked you. First of all, just define me who's not black.
I'm not interested in who's not black. I'm
of
only
course
interested
you're
in
not,
African
because
people.
you set up a situation where you're going to have endless enemies. And listen, I'm black origin like any Wakanda person. But you start
Wakanda doesn't exist. There's no country called Wakanda, my brother.
I use the term Wakanda because I look at it as a kind of reach before I grasp that. Like white people use Camelot. I use the idea of Wakanda because even though it's a cartoon or comic to many people, to me it represents the highest quality of a black culture that was unconquered, uncolonized, that other people want to imitate with an I and emulate with an E. I use it as a standard to go for, as I believe it must once existed in the past. Now, you got this idea of Afrocentrism, which I kind of go with. You got black folks here who believe never came from out of Africa. You got black folks here who would not be able to define what black is what.
Well, they can just take a DNA test and see if we came out of Africa.
Fine, then tell me who could take a DNA test who wouldn't be African if we all came out of Africa.
And to what end would we do that, Joe, if I may ask?
The point is this. I want to agree with him about the idea of having a strong black consciousness. Mm-hmm. But the way, if Tulsa's been the example that white folks are dynamic in their evil, let's assume there's a separate group called white folks. We must not create endless enemies. The idea of reparations should be this, where the most hated white guy wakes up one day and realizes he's disrespected his African ancestors. That's not likely to happen. Other than that, we might as well go for that bag. If everything, Umar, you're saying is correct to a certain extent. But if you honestly think that if I was a racist white guy, I'm going to sit there and let you do this like it's all going to be great, take 6 states, I'll take your...
No, I agree with you there. I agree with you there. I completely believe that what we are entitled to and what we are asking for and what we expect, you tend to only get after war.
No, you don't have to get it after war. That's not true.
That's very true.
The case. We're in here because...
That's very true. Why do people fight wars? People fight wars for land and resources. Both world wars were fought for land and resources.
Brother Umar, explain to me, Dahomey. Explain to me how those folks in Dahomey took black people as slaves and shipped them over to the Americas. Explain to me the Mali and Song Empire, where mostly it was slaves by other black folks.
What does that have to do with your previous
points? I'd be darned if I said that. Anthony Johnson in the United States, that brother was just kicking us in the butt because he wanted to be like the best whites in slavery. What are you talking about, brother?
Thank
you jumping all over the place, my brother. Black power. He jumping all over the place.
This is our last break for the segment.
Man.
I know. It was a good one. But again, it's important that we be able to have dissenting point of
yes,
view.
disagree without being disagreeable.
Right. And have that exchange.
Or disrespectful. We don't want to do that.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Thank you. So let's go out. We'll be right back. With phone lines are still open, 773-591-1690. Give us a call. And we're here with Dr. Umar. We'll be right back. And as I say that, I'm closing the phone lines.
Man, that's a wild boy there.
You wild all
You know, Joe is usually kind of on point. That's why I gave him so much latitude. He's normally one of our more astute callers.
I got you.
I didn't see that. And I was trying really hard to understand the root of his issue.
I got you.
And I still never got it.
He's like, this is my moment.
Yeah.
This is my moment.
Yeah, he went from Black Wall Street to Dahomey.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
I never got the root of it. And I hate that.
Oh, any other room? Let me get my chicken.
Ah, go ahead, Queen. You good in there, Princess?
Yes.
Pleased to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I'm Logan.